And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again. Welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. That is the goal of this program. We want to make you more street smart as a consumer and also as a business owner, connect you to our 80-plus categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Almost 8 years on air now. Really excited about our team and a lot of good things happening here. We got a great lineup for you on the show today as well. Coming up here, we've got Stephanie Sutton later in the show, Gulfside healthcare specialist, services, patient navigation, and social works. But we always talk about supporting the local economy here. Veteran Gutters is American-made products right here in Tampa Bay. Brandon Porter and his team, they do a great job. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, they're a first-class organization. Shout out to Veteran Gutters, and make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Also, save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it. We're going to be giving out lots of great advice and insights today, so save our hotline number, 813-750-0550. Call or text the hotline, 813-750-0550, and make sure you bookmark the website, consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, and also you can also save our hotline number and the website in your phone, so that'd be great for you to do that. A couple of hot listings. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air on our show to help our sellers maximize the exposure and the profit. So we've got 607 Willow is a great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. 607 Willow is a beautiful property in South Tampa. Now, the owner is motivated, and it's a great location right in South Tampa, so you're close proximity to all the best restaurants, 607 Willow. Now, you got almost 3,000 square feet, historic duplex home in the middle of Hyde Park. It's a split apartment. You got upstairs and downstairs. You got 2 bedrooms, 1 bath for both. Plant High School District. And that's a big deal right here in Tampa Bay. So 607 Willow is a great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, let's make our introductions. Ladies first, Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Welcome back.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing? I am still calling from Savannah. I'm coming back home for next week just for a few days, but I will be back up here because my son-in-law is in leadership training for the military. So new baby and trying to help out.
Very cool. That's awesome. That's always a helpful hand, a welcome hand, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. So what do you want to talk about today in the mortgage world?
Well, I'm going to talk about the Fed minutes yesterday a little bit. It was a little confusing for a lot of people, but I'm going to talk about that a little and let people know that interest rates are really still very good, but I'll talk a little bit about the Feds.
Okay, excellent. We also have Ray Hall in studio, Ray Hall Appraisals. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Yes, sir.
So we're having crazy times out there.
It is.
I don't know if you're putting as many miles on your car as I am mine, but it's definitely a busy time, and we're seeing things that we haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, looking forward to getting into that.
Very cool. Yeah, I've been putting some miles on. Had a couple listings out in East Hillsborough County, so going kind of deep out there to Plant City and Dover, and some beautiful properties. So $1 million listings, $899,000 listings. So
yeah,
I'll drive. I'll take the drive.
There's a lot of areas out there people don't know about that are,
they're
affordable too.
And more people, I believe, are looking for a rural escape. They're wanting to get out of the city. They're looking for a little bit of rural. They want some land and maybe drive their go-karts or ATVs around.
Well, and that's part of what's driving this market is the fact that they don't have to be by the city centers anymore.
Right.
They don't have to be by where the offices were. They can get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, and start work from the back porch. And if you want a nice view there. So
yeah, you get Zoom, jump on Zoom, and you got you got some meetings via Zoom, and then maybe you're driving and meeting some people.
Exactly. Well, except for me and you, we got the drive out there, but everybody else gets to stay home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Diane, what are you seeing on your end?
Oh, I'm seeing that it's still busy. It's not as busy as it was, but remember, Ray's kind of getting it as we, so I always, as far as closings, we're having our best months ever this year, of course, and last year.
Nice.
And but as far as purchases, we are seeing people wanting lower priced homes. So I think you're right. I think they're trying to go out into the country and things like that, because affordability wise, that's what they're looking for. We're seeing a lot of that. That seems to be most of the people. Interest rates are still very good. So it has been busy, and not as busy as it was probably 3 months ago, or 2 months ago even, but it's definitely still very busy. But interest rates are still very, very favorably, and the prediction is they are going to stay that way for a while.
Yeah, they have to stay there. It's just, with what's going on with the Fed, the printing of money, we talk about it from time to time here on the show with the printing of money, diluting our currency,
Yep.
And then the job market, the job crisis, the labor crisis. Talk a little bit about that and what you see on the side for employment.
Yeah, so the Fed minutes yesterday, they actually said that the supply chain, the bottlenecks, input shortages, they thought that might be resolved quickly, but it also could put upward pressure on prices beyond this year. So they kind of expected this year to have inflation because, we've had a bottleneck of things for the last year because people haven't done anything, right? People haven't worked and things like that, and there's been shortages of items. So they actually are going to talk about, they had actually discussed a plan for adjusting the pace of asset purchases. They aren't doing that yet, but that is what they're talking about. And basically that is, they're going to slow down the purchase of mortgage-backed securities, which, may happen here later in the year, which could help the dollar actually. But right now they are not doing that. However, the Fed kind of spooked the market. I don't know if you saw what happened yesterday. It spooked the market enough to make a lot of changes within the mortgage interest rates, but they've settled down today already. So, jobless claims came out and was actually decreased today. So that's good. There are a lot of, I know all over there's a lot of help wanted signs because there are people that are making more on their unemployment than they can when they go to work for places.
Right.
I know I talked to a couple local restaurants here, and they were saying that they would actually stay open. They are usually open in the evening, but they can't find enough help to be able to stay open past 3 o'clock.
Wow.
So they have decided to wait until people come back to work. But I see help wanted signs all over the place. People are paying bonuses. I know. I heard, some of the grocery stores are paying bonuses for people that did work during the pandemic and continue to work. So there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of help out there that people can go to work when they're ready to go to work, or, when they can work.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're, business owners are pretty much begging people to go to work. Ray, are you noticing that as well on your side?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to hire people myself. Mm-hmm. It was funny, and I took a picture of it the other day. I was getting Dunkin' Donuts for my daughters, and I'm in the drive-thru, and they had a sign that said, "We desperately need people. Please call this number to apply."
Yeah.
So, I mean, the work's out there.
And you're like nudging your daughter, "Hey, make the call." I don't know. She's probably not old enough yet.
My oldest, she's 12, but she looks 16.
There
so
you go. Yeah, exactly.
And you can get me the coffee every morning.
There you go.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
And a donut, right?
And a donut. So, it's out there. And people, I don't understand it. But
my daughter got her first taste of, work life working at a kind of a fast food type restaurant. Got her first paycheck. Oh man, that's weak. I said, that's what happens when taxes come out and you don't work a lot of hours.
Yeah, they look at that check. Who's fiking? What's he doing with my money?
Yeah, exactly. Who's fiking? Yeah, exactly. If you just joined us,
unfortunately, they're wasting it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm Brandon Rhymes, your host. We got Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage on the line, as well as Ray Hall in studio here. Ray Hall Appraisals as well. So, when you think about the market in general, I'm going over statistics a lot of times. Luckily, I've been blessed enough to get some really high-end listings, high-end for our area,
Mm-hmm.
Compared to other states, it wouldn't be considered as high-end as price. But, $899, $1 million, plus. And I'm going over the stats. And then normally you'd be able to show, here's the absorption rate, here's the the price per what we call like a bucket, from $750 to $850 or whatever. We'll have a bucket, we call it.
Right.
And you're showing these statistics, and you're like, wow, yeah, it's 162% absorption rate. It's unbelievable. So more properties are selling than are actually on the market on the data sheets.
Yeah.
So it's just unbelievable how fast properties are being absorbed. And then I even get the calls from the realtors say, hey, I saw you got this one back online, because it may have been like an expired listing. Mm-hmm. And I got some really motivated people. We're missing out on all these different properties. So when they say that, they mean they're missing out on a contract. They submitted an offer. The contract wasn't accepted for whatever reason, or maybe they were just a little late to the game. So that's the consistent theme in our market right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I do an appraisal report, I have to look at the sales and listings in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I remember the other day I saw one had a lot of sales this year, had quite a few pendings, had absolutely no active listings.
Yeah.
Nothing active.
Yeah.
And which prior to all this was rare, but they just can't keep them on the market. On the appraisal side, it's making our job difficult.
Yeah.
Because we do have those instances now where people are offering $30,000 over market. So now you have the realtor who's doing their best and saying, okay, it's worth $300,000.
Yep.
And then the guy comes along and says, I'll give him $330,000.
Yeah.
And then I have to come along and ruin everybody's day.
Yeah.
I
need
this
Ray,
support.
I ruin their day too, because I let them know the down payment comes from the purchase price or the appraisal, whichever is the less. A lot of people don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
They think, if I'm buying it for $330,000, doesn't matter that it comes in at $300,000. I said, no, you have to pay that $30,000 difference plus your down payment. But what we do is try to be a little creative, and maybe they take mortgage insurance and they're putting 20% down, maybe take a 10% down, try to get their out of pocket, because a lot of people are just exhausted at looking.
Yeah.
Because
That's the
houses
key.
are going so fast.
Yeah, that's the key, is getting creative, thinking outside the box, figuring out a way around it, a workaround, maybe adding in some realtor rebates or seller concessions. Lots of ways you can try to work it. More from our expert contributors. We got to take a quick commercial break here. Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Ray Hall Appraisals here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. Follow us online. We would love to connect with you on social. We've got over 1,200 videos on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Brandon Rhymes Realty on YouTube, at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813 888-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. A couple of hot listings here, 2746 Via Tivoli. We got a great condo available for sale right here in Tampa Bay. This property is just a great opportunity for either an owner-occupant, potentially a rental. You've got the Grand Bellagio at Baywatch, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200-plus square feet. New refrigerator, dishwasher, great opportunity. Heated pool, sauna, hot tub, resort-style amenities, and a private game room at 2746 Via Tivoli. It's unit number 122A right here in Tampa Bay. 2294 Swedish Drive. This is a property in top of world. It's a 55-plus community, almost 1,500 square feet, new AC, kitchen appliances, got golf courses around you, several pools, an impressive gym. They've even got fishing and a fishing dock there, assigned parking, 24 hours gated security, and minutes to Tampa Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. 2294 Swedish Drive, unit number 18 in Clearwater. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, so we got Diane VANCE on the line. Fairway Independent Mortgage. Support the local economy here by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. And in studio, Ray Hall Appraisals, our local valuation expert. I want to go back to Diane. So Diane, what do you think are some of the opportunities now? We've talked about some of the challenges. What are some of the opportunities in this market?
To plan early and make sure you are prepared so that you can. So my suggestion is, so I kind of did a poll with some folks because, a lot of people, they need to go FHA. So I've done some polls. So we offer a program that is to be determined. You don't have a property. So you go fully through underwriting as though you had a property. So you actually have a commitment. So when I talk to a couple of realtors, because I've heard that's some of the challenges out there, so they like the fact that they are fully, it's like a cash offer to them. So I would suggest people do that. But as far as the opportunities go, interest rates are so low, and if interest rates go up, in the next year, the following year, then what happens is your buying power is less. So it's still, I know it's exhausting for some folks to be able to, keep looking and things like that. But people are winning bids. So interest rates are very good, and it takes away your buying power in the future. So now is a good time. You can buy more if you can find the house that you like, and a lot of people are finding those. So it just sometimes it takes patience.
Yeah, patience and being prepared. One of the areas I see that there's potential for an opportunity is for the move up buyer. For example, if they're selling at the $200,000 to $300,000 range, explain how that would work. So they're selling at a price range where there's more competition, but they're buying at a price range where there might be, in this market, a little less competition.
Correct. Yeah. So we're seeing that you're above probably $750,000. You don't have as much, but you do still have competition, but not quite as much as you would have in the lower price. Because if you have a home and you're gonna have a lot of equity right now, so now is a good time. I mean, who knows in 2-5 years, whatever is going to happen. But right now, you have a lot of equity in your home. You can actually take that equity, purchase a more expensive home where not as many people are trying to get that home because they aren't prepared, or they can't afford to do that. You may have received raises as you live there, bonuses, that type of stuff, and you're able to actually, most people increase their income every year, so you're able to move up into the next step. And there's not as many people looking for those type of homes. So that's definitely an opportunity. I've had a lot of buyers, $1 million, $1.1 million, and they came from houses where they've sold their houses that were 5 or 6. I had one buyer, he sold his house, he didn't expect it. Literally within, they had 6 offers, in the first 6 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So he was able to, pick his offer and he was able to go out, and he didn't have to go into the negotiations a lot of people have to go through. So it was a win-win for him.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask Ray's opinion on something too. We talk about the federal moratorium; it's expiring on June 30th, and how that might play out. But also, I want to remind people back in 07, 08, when the bubble burst and there was a lot of foreclosure activity, be very careful and diligent about a lot of these loan modification scams, these home rescue type scams. They come in and claim to be, oh, they're going to save you. They're, just pay $1,000 to this attorney and he'll take care of everything. You've got to really investigate those. Can you elaborate?
Well, that doesn't come too much into play in what I do, but, you should always be careful on that. And I've seen a lot of people get into trouble and just not educating themselves in the type of loan they're going into or the situation or the people, getting into situations like private lending.
Yeah.
Sometimes, someone's credit isn't good or they don't want to wait for conventional lending methods. They go to a private lender and they get themselves into problems there.
Right.
And, a lot of what we saw back then in 2007, 2008 was everybody taking all the equity out of their house.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the market turned, the values went down. Now you were underwater like everybody saw. And, and getting in those situations and doing things like forbearance agreements, which a lot of people did last year. And they went into it not understanding kind of the ramifications of going into that type of a situation. It's if you need help and you have to get the help, it's great, but don't go into this stuff thinking you're getting a free ride,
right?
Because of these moratoriums and things like that. Because trust me, there's no free ride out there. Somebody has to pay for it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away with getting out of your loan.
Right.
So, and a lot of our business after 2007, 2008 was doing the REOs and the foreclosures.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful because it does happen and it will happen.
That's right.
So, Brandon, what people should understand is that they did a forbearance during this time. You should call your whoever's servicing your loan and ask them if you cannot. They'll give you some options, and one of those options is to modify. If you can afford to make your payment, they will modify your loan. Be very careful about the scams that were in the past. So call your servicing lender first before you do anything else. And before you, get concerned and things like that. That all depends, I guess, if you're back to work and we just talked about there's a lot of jobs out there, but, so call the servicing, whoever's servicing your loan. And if you were in forbearance, they will, they do have several options. One, of course, is to pay it up at one time, which most people can't do. That's the reason they went into forbearance. And the other option, of course, is to finance it over a period of time and also to do a loan modification that actually modifies the loan. But you do have to qualify for that. So there are some options out there, but there will be some folks that can't do that.
Right. Yeah, you got to be careful and not fall for the scammers that will hit you on text messages, emails. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ways they'll do that. But if you will be safe if you call the actual current mortgage servicer, contact them directly, explain to them your situation. And Diane, about 30 seconds left. Give us your final thought.
I think people should really continue to be diligent about looking for a home. And at this time when interest rates are so low, I don't believe, this is my personal opinion and some others' opinions, next year it will be a different situation with the interest rates. Now they are not going to go crazy up, but they'll be better than, they've been in the past, but they're not going to be as low as they are today. So I would say keep looking.
That's right. Stay with it. Stay diligent and persistent, and you'll find what you want. You got to be diligent. You got to, be looking on MLS late at night, early in the morning, being diligent to make sure you're on top of it, because there's a lot of people that are competing right now. So yeah, good stuff. Thanks so much, Diane. Fairway Independent Mortgage. Appreciate you. And when we come back, we got a feel-good story of the day. Solar Energy Project wins National Award for New College Student. This is pretty cool. Encouraging recognition for local school children here in Tampa Bay. This is a story right out of Sarasota. We'll be right back.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
right, let me know when we can continue. All right, stand by, please. She already hung up, and I said thank you before she did.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We're a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties and helping our buyers and investors find the right deal and negotiate the best deal for them. We got a hot property here in Tampa Bay, 1200 Gulf Boulevard. This is a penthouse available on Clearwater Beach on Sand Key. And this is number 1805 on Clearwater Beach, Sand Key. Beautiful property, almost 4,000 square foot. And you have another 1,100 square foot of terraces with a gazebo. Of course, there's resort-style amenities galore at this property. You got 3-bedroom suites, office, and den. Gorgeous beachfront penthouse right here in Tampa Bay, 1200 Gulf Boulevard, number 1805 in Clearwater. Of course, you got the world's best beaches, sugar sand beaches, and dolphin-filled waters right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And I want to give a shout out to Chad Irrigation. Victor and his team do such a great job on our real estate properties. Chad Irrigation, if you want to update or even input brand new irrigation, they can do that. Sprinkler systems on your property. And we actually utilize the lake access. So we drop the water, the piping into the lake, pull the water out of the lake. Now you're saving money on the city water, that is, and not electricity. You still got to pay for the electricity. But Chad Irrigation, shout out to Victor and his team. Lake access, and so many options you can go through with them. Longtime friends of the program, Chad Irrigation, Victor and his team. First-hand experience, first-class service, I can tell you that. All right, back here in studio, Ray Hall Appraisals. Ray, what else are you seeing, man? Commercial, residential, vacant land. There's different markets in each one.
Yeah. Not seeing a whole lot in the commercial market right now. That's kind of stayed steady for us. All of our focus right now is mostly the residential because it's just coming in, in waves. We did see kind of a slowdown a little bit this month in the amount coming in. Now, granted, I actually took a few days off and decided to go on short vacation.
Yep.
But it's, we kind of peaked last month with a record, but, we're still busy.
Yeah.
And still seeing a lot of, people just trying to get that house. And I keep telling people, just be careful what you're paying.
Yeah, don't overpay.
Don't overpay. Who's it? Warren Buffett said, be fearful when people are buying and buy when people are fearful.
Yeah.
Well, people are buying right now.
Yeah. Be greedy when others are fearful when others are greedy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a great time to buy because interest rates are so low and there's so many programs out there, but it doesn't mean you go crazy.
Yeah.
It's like giving your daughters $5 to go to the candy store and spending every dime of it. And,
that's right.
So be careful.
Yeah.
Even on the lending side, I see, luckily this time around, remember I started appraising back in 2004.
Yeah.
People were sucking every bit of equity out of their houses.
They're using it like a credit card.
Exactly. And I've said on the show before, you're maxing your credit card.
Yep.
Because in a few years, when, like Diane said, interest rates could go up, that could impact value. That's going to be directly associated to that. Your value goes down. Now you're underwater. And you need that new roof on that house you just bought. Well, guess what? You don't have the equity to take the loan. If you don't have the $30,000 to put the roof on, Now you're going to have to walk away from the house.
And by the way, they just changed the rules, the law about the roof. I'm not 100% sure if it got signed in. I believe Chuck said it was, though. I'm about 90% sure. But they changed a rule, a big one in the Florida State House and the Senate, and I believe the governor signed it. So what happens is they wanted to try to keep premiums low because last year there's so many storms, the insurance companies took major hits.
Right.
So I think it was something like $2 billion in losses for insurance companies. So what happened is they said, okay, what can we do to make the premiums less? So they said after 10 years, now on that 11th year, you only get 25% coverage on your roof. So
Well,
that's a big deal.
It is. And in fact, I was appraising a house yesterday, and I was talking to the owner, and she said, yeah, my insurance company just canceled us because our roof is too old.
Wow.
And now we have to have this special, or they're going to cancel us because the roof is too old. So they have to have a roofing company come out and do this special inspection on it.
Yeah.
And, because if you've ever seen what happens when you let a roof go, it's a mess.
Oh, yeah.
If your roof's getting old, I strongly suggest looking into it. Because and I'll give you a story. I went into a house and it was very run down.
Yep.
Well, the roof was leaking. Now the ceilings were caving in. Insulation all over the place.
Yep.
Got wet, got moldy.
Yep.
Well, now the house's condition is so low, nobody will lend on it.
Yeah.
So she can't get the money to fix that roof because she waited too long. So
and to strip it down to the studs, and then you got to treat it. You got to put kills on it. You got to sometimes spray, like a bleach type substance. It gets really bad, man.
Well, to do it right, you have to have a mold remediation company come in.
Right.
And you're talking probably minimum $10,000.
Yeah. Mold Zero is our partner in that space. If anybody needs that, Mold Zero, Brandon Faust and his team do a great job. Mold Zero. We've heard stories along those lines as well. So the commercial, I saw an interesting post as well on LinkedIn, and it was about commercial. They were saying, man, it just seems like commercial was going to take a hit. Everybody was thinking, wow, commercial's going to take a hit, but it's not. It's still not taking the hit. I think it's just so much robustness, especially. I'm not sure if that was Florida based or if it was overall nation, but especially in Florida, our governor's been doing such a good job keeping everything in line, and you see that. People vote with their feet in a certain sense, their cars and their tires, right? So they're coming down in record numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I get it all the time. What do you think Valley's going to do? Well, we have a bubble and it's going to burst. Well, I don't know.
I don't think it will.
No, because we have 1,000 people a day moving to Florida. Maybe parts of the other country are going to see some hard times.
Right.
But we're filling up the gaps. I don't see the greed that I saw back in 2004, 2005.
Bingo.
People just trying to get that money.
That's right.
A lot of the refinances I do, usually when the appraisal comes in, they're happy.
Yeah, the market fundamentals are there this time.
Exactly.
Last time they weren't.
Exactly. It's the purchases that we're seeing the problem.
Give us your final thoughts, Ray.
If you're, like Brandon said, be diligent and looking for that house. It's going to take a little while. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort. But again, be careful. Don't overpay. Don't overextend yourself, and certainly try to keep some equity in those houses when you're refinancing.
Yeah, be careful with FSBOs. I just want to add something. I always, sometimes I just think about FSBOs because I talk to so many of them. For sale by owner, we call FSBOs in the industry. Yeah, Ray, we've seen it where they're priced $500, $1,000, even $1 million overpriced.
Yeah, we sat there off air and discussed them together and just said, what are you thinking?
People can overpay. And a lot of times the sellers, they just really don't understand that by listing as a for sale by owner, you're alienating 90% of the market because 9 out of 10 buyers start their search with the realtor. So you're asking people to trust you to buy the house, but it's outside of this kind of a system. So anyways, that's my take real quick on the FSBOs.
Oh yeah, and if you're looking at for sale by owner, remember the person who owns that house has a personal interest in that house. They have an emotional interest in that house. Right. Don't pay for their emotional attachment to it.
Exactly. Good point.
That's the problem that I'm sure you see it all the time as a listing agent.
Yeah.
My house is worth $1 million. No, it's only worth $250. But it's I'm
true.
glad you appreciate it.
Yeah.
So look out for those.
RayHallAppraisals.com.
Yep.
RayHallAppraisals.com. All right, good stuff. Thanks for coming in, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, Stephanie Sutton, Gulfside Healthcare Services here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus, our feel-good story of the day is a good one. And again, we like to encourage recognition for school children here in the local area, Tampa Bay area, Sarasota, Florida. This is a student that got recognized. Solar Energy Project wins National Award for New College Student. Find out about that and more right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane VANCE with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We'd love to help you when you're buying, selling, or investing. And we always like to tell you something good here on the show. Every day we like to be a positive influence in your life.
Tell me something good.
All right, an invention by a new college Florida student, new College of Florida student could revolutionize the way the average person accesses solar power. Tony Ginsburg, a third-year physics and environmental studies student, has been recognized nationally for her patent-pending invention, Gizmo Power. The mobile solar carport with an integrated electrical vehicle charger was one of the 10 projects chosen as Aussie Genius Award recipient. Ginsburg took home a $10,000 prize for her invention, and she'll use the funds to tweak and improve the standalone system. Eventually, she'll build a solar-powered carport on New College's campus, and she's quoted as saying, "I'm just so stoked that it's gaining national recognition. Hopefully, this will get people thinking about and talking about renewable energy." During the pandemic, she learned about how TIG weld aluminum, and she used her newfound skills to build a prototype for Gizmo Power as portable structure when it comes in handy when areas hit by hurricanes and other storms such as Florida. It's also addressed at the affordability of solar power by bypassing some of the most costly elements of installing solar panels on home and the permitting fees and contractor costs, Tony said. And final quote, she says, the permitting cost for a stationary structure on your home is expensive. Putting the system on wheels made the entire concept a game changer. It turned into an appliance instead of a structure. So there's a really cool story right out of Florida. And again, we love to encourage recognition for our school children here in Tampa Bay. We've got our expert contributor in studio now from Gulfside Healthcare Services, Stephanie Sutton. Welcome in.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it. And you are the Patient Navigation and Social Work Specialist.
Absolutely, I am.
Tell us a little bit about what you do on a daily basis.
So I work a lot with our home health patients and our palliative care patients.
Okay.
I help them navigate through our service lines, whether it is both home health and palliative care, making those decisions for the next step into transitioning to our hospice.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool. So you got the 3 main pillars there at Gulfside. Why don't we remind our listeners, like, what are, you say home health care, palliative, and then hospice. What is, do you mind give us a little definition of each one?
Sure. So home health care, which we'll talk about a little bit more, is getting services in the home that you could get like at a skilled nursing facility, limiting doctors' office visits for like vitals, lab work, things like that. palliative care, we're looking at keeping the patient comfortable with their chronic illnesses, whether it's COPD, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, things like that. And then hospice, we're looking at increasing the patient's quality of life towards the end of their disease.
Yeah.
So maintaining that level of comfort, their autonomy and dignity throughout end of life.
Yeah, that's important. So social workers are just part of the care team. Who else can patients expect visits from?
Sure, they can expect from home health. They can expect visits from occupational, speech, and physical therapists, as well as nurses, home health aides, and of course social workers as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Gulfside Healthcare Services here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stephanie Sutton in studio here, patient navigation and social work specialist. So how does social work fit into the care team dynamics for the home health patients?
Sure. So we have a fun role, as weird as that may sound.
I like it.
We get to be creative. So
Cool.
we're looking at the patient, looking at, if they can benefit from community services such as like Meals on Wheels or CARES or the Area Agency on Aging. We look at assistance with electrical bills or assistance with, getting medications. We'll send referrals and resources to even estate planning or personal counseling services as well.
Yeah.
If it's outside of our scope of practice as a social worker.
Right.
So
That's great. Yeah. So you bring in Meals on Wheels, and an example of somebody that maybe not have enough resources. They're lacking resources. So you bring in Meals on Wheels to deliver meals to those types of folks that fit that economic status.
Right, absolutely. Or even if you're rehabbing from like a knee surgery, things like that, and you can't get up and stand in front of the stove or even at the microwave, it's great to have those
Right.
services come in and
Yeah.
help.
That's super awesome that you guys are there to help. And you are a nonprofit organization.
Correct.
So it's a little bit different than some people might think as a regular business. Nonprofit has some different advantages there.
Right.
That's pretty
absolutely.
cool. So people can donate as well. I know in the past we talked about donating to the different storefronts that you have.
Right. We have several thrift shops throughout the area.
That's right.
So it's a great place to donate and help.
The thrift shops are awesome.
Mhm.
All right. So who else could benefit from the care of Gulfside Healthcare Services?
So, like I said, somebody who's had surgery, needs rehab, whether it's knee replacement, hip replacement, or even somebody who's recovering from a stroke or a heart attack, who, stroke victims may need some extra assistance with speech or occupational therapy. And, those are knee replacements or hips, also physical therapy within the home.
Yeah, and then you think about the caregivers. A lot of times, if they don't have for example, like a Gulfside Healthcare to step in and help, a lot of times it's the same person in the family that's, basically added to their plate. It's given to them. Hey, take care of so and so. It's grandma that had the fall, or so and so got into a motor accident, and it's the same person. So the caregivers come in from Gulfside Healthcare and can really just kind of change that whole dynamic.
Right. And I just want to, the caregivers with the patients or caregivers from our team, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
the same, like, for example, like somebody in the family that's normally always the one to jump in, whether it's the aunt, the uncle, the grandma, they get tired, they get beat up themselves. So it's nice to give them a break.
It is, because a lot of the time, you have the patient who is recovering, but so often we see that that's ends up not just being one patient, but then there's two patients within all of that. So yeah, making sure the caregivers are caring for themselves, because it's that whole analogy. We can't put on your oxygen mask first, so you can put on the oxygen mask and help out others around you, sort of thing.
Yep.
So it's just that big thing of reassurance with the caregivers, knowing they don't have to go through this alone. And linking them to, again, with services, really focusing on their emotional support and making sure, again, I can't reiterate it enough, engaging in self-care, because we can get so wrapped up in the caregiving.
Yeah.
We forget to, we forget meals. We forget, how important sleep is.
Right.
And just the exercise component of all of that too.
Yeah.
Or just running out and getting a manicure or coffee, little things.
Yeah. Massage.
Exactly.
I love my massages.
I do too.
As a former athlete, I took a lot of hits and all that good stuff. So it feels so great to do that at least, once every couple of weeks or so. But,
Absolutely.
So what do you cover? You cover what areas in Tampa Bay?
So in the Tampa Bay area for home health, we cover Pasco and Pinellas counties.
Excellent. Yeah, Pasco and Pinellas, and that's keeping you pretty busy there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I love also how you have pastors on hand. I know we've interviewed a couple of the pastors over the years here, and I love that aspect because I think especially when people are in that position where they've had an accident or they're facing an illness, how important it is to have that connection to God.
Yeah, the spiritual support. All of our chaplains are non-denominational, so whether it's Christianity or Hinduism, things like that, they're able to connect with all of the patients on that level and really, make sure the patients are at peace within their spiritual needs.
Yeah, that's really cool. What are the benefits for caregivers when someone chooses to get home health?
So it goes back to letting them know that they don't have to go through it alone. I think we saw over the last year, rehab facilities where patients were going out of the home that limited the support system of patients. The family members coming in. So it's keeping the patient at the home, but also we're kind of bringing the services to you that you'd receive there. So we're not moving in and living with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but we're providing like the physical therapy in the home. It's limiting the trips out of the home for the patients. I know when I've been injured, the last thing I wanted to do half the time was get out of the home.
Yeah, exactly. Go pick up prescriptions or whatever it might be. It's like
it's taxing.
Man, you're in pain. You don't want to deal with that, and then God forbid traffic is bad that day, and you end up sitting in traffic longer than you'd like. Or
right.
It's a real challenge.
Sure, and even just the benefits too with our home health aides, they're great. Just giving that caregiver a break. For hygiene needs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. I had 7 months ago, I had a double bypass heart surgery at a very young age, of course. And just that same thing's resonating in my mind as I'm talking about this is, I didn't hardly want to get off the couch, much less, if I didn't have people, so it was great. The nurses came over. I didn't know what to expect.
Sure.
I had just had this major surgery and, what should my blood pressure be? What should, all these things. So to have somebody that kind of comes in with that normal, that knowledge, and it gives you like, okay, now I am normal. I'm at a normal line here, so mentally.
Absolutely. And having that educational piece and just being able to stay in the home.
Right.
I mean, that's where I'm the most comfortable.
Exactly.
When
that's
I'm
a
sick.
big point. Yeah.
So the place, we want to be at home.
Yeah. Stay at home, rather than, some sanitary, overly sanitary, overly freezing cold hospital room.
Right.
We've all been there. We've all seen how that plays out. I mean, it just feels like it's, of course they have to keep it cold for the reasons
Right.
and all that. But yeah, home is where the heart is. Home is where you feel comfortable.
Right. And where everything's at.
Right. Exactly.
It's the little things. So
I think a question people have too is, we kind of touched on it. You're a nonprofit, but, people might think, well, how do I pay for this? How does insurance cover this? How does this work?
Sure. So, because we are a nonprofit, we do have that kind of added advantage, if you will. So if we're not able to receive reimbursement or Medicare, insurance doesn't cover, Medicare coverage isn't there, our team will work to make sure that the patients are cared for with different, work with them on payment options or even, use of donations through our thrift shops, all of that.
That's awesome. That'll help offset it. So ways that people can get involved, they can donate. I know you take volunteers. They can donate leftover items that are value to the thrift stores. And also the best contact information for you is
you can contact us at 800-561 888-34883. You can also contact us at our website at www.gulfside.org, or you can find us on Facebook as well at facebook.com/Gulfside Healthcare Services.
Awesome. Good stuff. Hey, Gulfside Healthcare Services, gulfside.org is the URL. Another great show. I want to thank all of our expert contributors. Thanks for coming in today, Stephanie. Ray Hall, Diane Vance had a great show here. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.